Lovely welcome to this new Jinkies transmission. This time with the 15th Jinki that I contemplate together with you. I get my own experiences in, like always, and talk about the negative or limiting belief systems that go together with the Jinki. And this Jinki is the shadow of dullness, the gift of magnetism, and the city of Florescence. And the programming partner of this is the 10th Jinki, put it here like always. It's being at the city level, at the gift level, naturalness and self-obsession at the shadow frequency. And so the two programming partners always interact with each other. They are like also opposites in a way. And so just to know this. And the psychology for the 15th Jinki is the liver, and the Codon ring is the ring of seeking. And there's like in the ring of seeking, there is the 39 Jinki also inside, which is the city of liberation. It's the 52nd Jinki, which is stillness as far as I remember. Then the 53rd, the 54th, and the 58th, which is bliss, the 58. So this is like the seeking, like the human kind of also seeking, and through the seeking at some point we have like this awakening experience and we just remember again who we are. So this is like a genetic structure that is triggering this spiritual search, seeking and everything. Let's jump right into the shadow of dullness. The poet T.S. Eliot said that as far as literature is concerned, the world is divided between Shakespeare and Dante. There is no third. In his supreme work, The Divine Comedy, Dante left us what is arguably the greatest map of human consciousness ever written. Whereas Shakespeare used the drama, Dante used allegory as a means to communicate an immortal truth about human nature. The 64 Jinkis can be experienced at three main frequencies bands of the shadow, the gift and the city. Dante named these same levels of consciousness hell, purgatory and paradise, respectively. So this is very poetically, and this is nice, like to just have some kind of insight what the 15th Jinki is about this at the highest level, this fluorescence, this flowering of life in a way. So the ring of seeking initiates your evolutionary journey from being unaware of your true nature to your eventual awakening as an impression of divine form, what I kind of told already before. And within this genetic structure, the 15th Jinki plays perhaps the most vital role of all of the Jinkis. In a nutshell, it keeps us human. And to be human is to be a battlefield of opposing forces and frequencies, some of which pull you towards heaven and others which try to drag you downwards into hell. Humanity is the bridge for consciousness to work out these many conflicting currents. This is kind of like great to know that there is no one-sided way in humans. Even if you, let's say you are really awakened and still you just go on normal in life. At the same time, you know everything is a play and a game, like you don't have this seriousness anymore. So it's great to have like this this way of talking, and that is normal for humanity and for humans to have both sides of the polarity, and the attitude is everything that decides how it's going for us. And this Jinki is also a lot of about attitude, which you will find out later with me. So one of the key elements in Dante's hell is repetition. What does it mean? In which way repetition? And the book is written one of the greatest fears of the 15th shadow is just this, to be locked into a repeating rhythm that never changes. So this is how it's meant, based on hell. Like we are conditioned and we always play the same programs, the same behavior patterns, and we are never able to change them. And that is his kind of key element of what is hell. And yet the huge irony here, which Dante captures perfectly in his great work, is that life does indeed consist of endless repeating patterns and rhythms. So yeah, it's a paradox, so like a lot of times. Another one in the book is the 15th Chinky is about the diversity of organic life. The 15th shadow highlights the dullness of life. It represents an attitude of human awareness and indeed of animal and plant awareness. Also, in the case of other life forms, one might not use the word dullness. A dog can sit on a doorsteps for a whole month doing absolutely nothing and never be bored. Indeed, we humans observe animals, we often feel a sense of envy that they seem to have no worries, that their lives are so simple. Yeah, cats are similar, they're just like here in Cyprus, they just chill, they relax. Maybe they have 5 minutes their crazy time and they fight each other, and after they just go on and relax again and sleep, and they never look like they have any problems in their life, and that's so funny. So two humans going through identical experiences can literally taste two entirely different worlds. One can be in heaven and the other in hell. Not only that your attitude affects life events, which is the first great law of magic, experience mirrors attitude. So it's really about our attitude, how we go towards life, how we act on challenges, because every human being has their challenges. There's no human being, no challenges. It depends always what attitude we have towards the challenge. And it's all about if we force it in a way and we fight it, we force it and we build up blockings around it and the energy cannot flow. And then like we are in this hell because we just don't see outside of this cage of hell in a way. And so it's important to have like this open energy and to be patient when there's some challenges, and most of the times they solve themselves, and that's so important about this attitude things. So it's also written about attitude here. In short, your attitude denotes how consciousness is using your awareness at any given moment. It is the membrane that links the microcosm to the macrocosm, and it is how DNA programs and is programmed by the environment. This is also what Dr. Bruce Lipton tells a lot. He is like a biologist, one of the most famous, that kind of one of the founders of epigenetics, like that the genes, like we have like the power to change our environment with our genes. And this is really, really important to know in this aspect, because then it's about also the attitude, how we see things. Either like we can say we are victim, we let us victimize of our genetics and genes, like my grandparents had like this illness, or like they had no money, my parents had no money, so I will not have money. We can victimize ourselves, or we can empower ourselves and say, look, they choose the life they had and I just choose a different life where luxury and wealth and everything is allowed, and I allow this to flow in my life. So it's all about the attitude, and then it's the belief systems that convince us either if this is something like feeling good or bad. We can even like there can be like that's like one of the main problems and challenges about money, for example. We can say like, oh, we love to have money and we have to love prosperity, and at the same time it makes us have a bad feeling. So there's like a belief system that convinces us to build up prosperity and wealth is something bad, so we shouldn't do it. And this neural networks and all of the patterns we have, they like tell us don't do it, and then we a lot of times listen to them and don't do what our sole purpose really is, to change what is not needed anymore at the moment it's not needed, and to live our full potential of excitement. And that's it. So let's jump right into the repressive and reactive nature. 1 second. So about dullness, the repressive nature is the internal, always is empty. You feel empty. When dullness takes hold of someone with a natural repressive nature, it manifests as emptiness. This dullness is very different from boredom, which has a certain restless energy quality hidden within it. See the 35th Chinky, yeah, is like the city of boundlessness. I also had that transmission. And this kind of emptiness is very close to depression. In fact, will inevitably lead to depression. Such a person has at some level given up. It is a kind of negative acceptance or resignation. Yeah, probably not more to say about this. The reactive nature is extremist. If you have a reactive nature, then you will rebel against the dullness. These people do not accept the dullness either, but their nature is to escape through denial. They just deny everything. These people are always on the move, never really able to commit to anything or anyone, running from their own shadows. The gift, magnetism, hitting the Schumann resonance. In 1977, a scientist by the name Otto Schumann made a remarkable discovery. He mathematically predicted the exact frequency of the Earth's heartbeat within the electromagnetic spectrum. Vibrating at 7.8 Hz, this wavelength, called the Schumann resonance, is literally the vibrating pulse at the heart of all living organisms. This pulse binds us together as a single organism. The 15th gift represents the inner barometer within our DNA to the Schumann resonance. So it's all about vibration and frequency, and there are a lot of, you can check on YouTube and everywhere else, you can find the 7.8 music compositions you can listen to, and there's a lot, you can just check how this resonates with you when you listen to this, and then you in a way discover how much you are already in this harmony of this frequency, or whether like you feel a lot different when you listen to this. It's a nice just test and experiment for yourself you can do. The fact is that when the frequency of your DNA hits the Schumann resonance, your experience of time stops completely. This is also kind of what Eckhart Tolle tells us with the now, that time stops, you are just where you are. It's not a frozen feeling, it's more like you move in time and at the same time you don't move in time. So it's a paradox. And as you ascend in consciousness to the gift level of frequency, you experience for the first time the underlying beauty of life's diversity through the subtle mutations that take place in this 15 Chinky. The very state that you feared was taking away your life force actually becomes an awesome font of vital magnetic energy. Dullness is no longer dull. It is as through you were peering into an empty vessel and suddenly realized that it isn't empty, but full of potential. The gift of magnetism makes a person physically glow or shine in a way with life force. Literally, what a strange word for German, unbelievable. Literally makes them appear larger than life. It is a gift filled with enthusiasm and openness, and above all, it is a gift of love. Yeah, not so much to tell. It's just a gift of love. How all of the gifts are a gift of love in a way, with different qualities of love. Here we have the magnetism, a quality of love. And for example, the 10th Chinky is the love of naturalness, the quality love of naturalness. So yeah, it's kind of about this. The real beauty of the 15th gift, however, lies in its acceptance of ordinariness. To experience life through this gift is, in the words of William Blake, to see heaven in the wildflower. The great spiritual trials are not met in the extremes, but in the everyday, in your relationships, while doing the dishes, cleaning the house, or going to work. This is so important because I see myself, a lot of people escape all of this kind of ordinary things to do, especially when people are successful in business and they just get for every small thing they get someone for their life to manage it. And you could think about what this is also showing you, because when you do the dishes, when you do the ordinaries, a lot of times some fears come up that normally suppressed. I noticed a lot. So people really have to see whether they outsource their ordinary things because of the fear that something uncovers or like something hidden comes up. And actually this is a really big spiritual growth opportunity to just do the ordinaries, because it shows still what lies within that has not been dealt with yet, that you did not see yet, and that is ready for transformation. You could summarize the gift of magnetism as being the power to influence and being influenced by means of the aura. Magnetism is all about the power of aura. As Goethe said, everything alive creates an atmosphere around itself. All life forms radiate biogenetic energy fields which interact with their environment through geometric laws. It is this 15th gift that unlocks the power of the aura to conduct and relay information between forms. Let's go to the city. There's actually not so much to tell about the aura fields. The only thing that I will put a picture, I found some, it's about I missed the name, you will see, like there is some kind of photo, like photos of the aura you can do. And I found some pictures of that, and so you can see how they, even from a scientific point of view, are able to read like the surrounding aura. Like it's not some hocus pocus. So even like to science, it's not strange anymore. It's just normal. So yeah, just about this aura things. Should you be more scientific based? So the city, Florescence, the emergence of Shambhala. The 15th city is a quality known as florescence, a word that essentially refers to the process of bursting into flower. Each of the cities, in fact, represents a process of florescence. That is what the higher self represents, your ultimative flowering. Florescence cannot be chased, hurried, or enforced. It is a state that occurs to humans sporadically, meaning that no one can predict if or when it will occur to a particular person. One thing alone is certain: we humans recognize it when it occurs in another. A person in whom consciousness is spontaneously flowering is a person surrounded by magic, by light, and by a tangible magnetic mystery. Very big truth about life: to let life unfold naturally and not want with the mind, I have to awaken now, I have to have these flowers building up, because it's just delaying everything. You build a lot of blocking up and then nothing happens actually. I had a phase in my life where I tried and pushed too much, and I have to say that the chinkies with the process of pausing, of pivoting and merging is kind of like the concept of the art of contemplation, how they really helped me to just be in the moment, and while I'm doing the dishes, while I'm out, to just reflect and have like this totally more openness to patience in a way. And I did not have this before, so that's where chinkies helped me a lot until now, in the last 2 years. So all through florescence cannot be predicted. There are certain signs that may appear before it occurs. If we look to the 10th chinky, the gift of naturalness, which is the programming partner of the 15th chinky, we find a clue. When a person, sometimes like you just click something and it's not working for whatever reason. When a person becomes truly natural and comfortable with who they are, when they become truly accepting of theirs and others' lives, they are close to flowering. Florescence is experienced when awareness finally comes to rest, because only when awareness stops seeking itself can it truly rest. When it does come to rest, consciousness, which was within all along, finally shines through. The ancients and sages said that the mind must be still, or that all thoughts must stop in order for reality to be perceived. This has actually been a misunderstanding down the ages. It is not thought that must cease, but identification with thought. It is the thinker that must cease. Very important, write yourself this down if you didn't, or check this again and again. This is one of the secrets about being awake and going into the state of awake. When thoughts are there, to not identify with them, to keep a distance, and to know this has not necessarily to do with you. It's just thoughts in the field that come and go. They can be from so many outside people, from everything, from the environment. So just let them in and out, like you. Good question. Like what? Like when you do something like this, for example, there's like the wind, and at the same time there is no resistance, right? Like you can easily get your hand from left to right. So just do it kind of like the same with the thinking. Just let them come in, come out, and then at some point you will see more, okay, this thought, somehow they are more often there, and you have probably also emotional feeling, and then you can let it go slowly because you notice this is some belief is still active and the genetic structure for you. So what else about this nice city? Florescence is grace. It occurs whenever and wherever it feels like occurring. Yeah, kind of like what we had already. It's like also all acidic states are a grace experience, a graceful experience, that some divine energy just ascends into the physical body and realm. And you have to be ready to experience this, because it's like a really special hiring of consciousness. And should you be not ready and have something experienced like this, you probably have noticed that after that there were a lot of strange fragmentations, and you had to do a lot of work to be peaceful again. Because it's like if you just go to the core directly and you didn't do like the base work, the fundamental work, and the foundational work, this will be a hell of a trip, I can tell you. I have experienced. So yeah, happy to be through kind of about this. So the 15th Siddhi can only occur when the mind has completely given up control. Florescence is utterly confusing to the mind. It is too spontaneous, too unpredictable, and too wild for the mind to follow, let alone manage. When you come into perfect harmony with the Schumann resonance, time itself will stop within your being. This is an impossible experience to rely in words. In the words of the Christ, it is when mystically inherent, or when we mystically inherit the earth. And about like my experience also to tell, I think we're kind of, there's one more to say about my experience. It doesn't mean like I kind of tell like I'm in shadow gift or siddhi myself. I check to keep it neutral, like, and to know that all of the shadow gift and the siddhi are entangled within me, and just happened to be that I get to be more open. I don't search and say like, I'm like in this stage and other people are in a different stage, because then you are also like actually blaming and judging people, and this is so important to not do something like this. Because when I had my first experience that had a really big lightening up, I went to hell for a long time actually, because there were a lot of thoughts, a lot of things I had to deal with then, and this is really like it's a very special experience to have like something like this, and it matches to my core, which I have in the Gene Keys. I have the 36, which is in the shadow is turbulence, and humanity and compassion as the Siddhi. And I'm just this turbulent collective being that wanted to have this experience, and I'm very happy that I went through there, and not a lot can shake me up now. So, in a nutshell, fluorescence is the explosive chain reaction of enlightenment of all forms to the true nature of consciousness. It is stamped into the destiny of every living creature. It is, and the last very point of like the transmission today, and it is coming to humanity very soon, very, very soon. So thank you to listen to and watch this video. Thumbs up when you like the video. Also subscribe to the channel, and you also see the whole other contemplations I have done. There are a lot of videos online already, over 10 transmissions, and soon there will be all 64, and I plan to do a lot more different kind of videos, contemplations, maybe meditations also spontaneously, like whatever pops up, what feels right. Also put it in the comments what you have related to this Chinky, and what you would love to have also on this channel in the next upcoming months and years. Thank you very much, you Dominic, and see you next time. Bye bye.